No, we did it. Thank you so much. 5,000 subscribers. And I promised at 2K that I'll be back to talk to you about getting subscribers on YouTube. So I've got planned a series of 5 videos on how to get 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, or how I got 5,000 anyway. So buckle up, let's begin. Hey, I'm Pam Duthie, and usually I'm making videos on growing a shop on Etsy. But an interesting thing, so if you're an Etsy SEO person, stick around for what I've got coming here. It's still relevant. Growing anything online all has one thing very similar in common, and that is SEO, search engine optimization. So actually my growth on YouTube has mirrored my growth on Etsy. They've fed into each other, they've helped each other. So hopefully if you're growing on Etsy, you can get some tips and tricks from what I've done on YouTube as well. Or in fact, if you're growing anywhere online, it's all relevant. So SEO is like the super secret sauce for us little guys. It gives us the edge. Now, you're going to look at some of the big YouTubers, some of the big Etsy sellers, and say they don't do the things that you're suggesting to do. And yeah, they don't need that super secret sauce. They have fans, followers, people who love their work. They have visits, views, sales, all the things they need. So I don't want to be doing the same thing as PewDiePie's doing. There's different ways to drive traffic, and SEO is that secret sauce that's just going to give us the little edge. And why is SEO so similar for Etsy and YouTube and everything else? It's because it's trying to solve a pretty similar problem. It's taking creators and searchers and wanting to match them together, not too violently, wanting to bring them together. Now, the exact goal can be slightly different. On Etsy, it's looking for the people who search, and it's wanting to bring them the creator that's got the thing they're most likely to buy. On Google, it's wanting to find the thing that answers the question. It's wanting to find the website that they click on and go and look on. On YouTube, it's wanting to get the most minutes watched for each individual search term. So they're all trying to solve a fairly similar question. And so at the end of the day, it's worth experimenting. If you learn one thing works on one platform, it's worth experimenting to see if it will work on another platform. And quite often it does. Now, Google is the biggest search engine on the planet. It has the most money. It has the most intelligence. It has the best people. So when it makes changes, when it tests things and everything, it's a good idea to keep an eye out. And Google owns YouTube, so stuff that trickles down from Google is going to be tested in YouTube. And so if it's working in Google and it's working in YouTube, it might well work in Etsy. So how did I actually get started with SEO? This is an embarrassing little story. Many years ago, I was trying to make a website for my driving instructor business, and obviously made a website as you do, and sat back and thought, I've built it. People will come. This seems to be the theme with everything I make. I made my Etsy shop, put up a listing, and just expected people to turn up. Same with YouTube videos. But I eventually realised it doesn't work like that. When people search, you have to be on that front page to get found. So I looked into learning a little bit about Google SEO. This was many years ago. And it's kind of a bit embarrassing, my first step into SEO on this little Google website. I discovered that you wanted your keywords, the things that people are searching for, you wanted to include them in the body of your web page. You wanted to say the words in your web page, which made total sense. So I wanted to find a way to get as many keywords into my page without making it look spammy to people landing on it. I had the genius idea. If you take all the words and paste them onto your background in the same colour as the background, then it's there and the computer can read it, but people can't see it. Now, don't do that. That's a way to get websites shut down. I got away with it, but it also started me on my journey from learning that there's good SEO that tells the search engine what it is that you've created, and there's SEO that's trying to game the system, and that's going to get shut down. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So even though I'd had this little dabble into SEO, when I started my Etsy shop, yeah, I did nothing. I did terrible. I didn't understand what I was doing. I put up listings and just expected them to work. So for 6 years, I did fairly terrible. Then I decided to get into this SEO thing again. I decided to learn what Etsy was looking for, and year on year my growth has been amazing. We're talking from 50 quid to over 5,000 quid in a few short years, which is a pretty impressive growth, I think you'll agree. I'd been watching quite a few YouTube videos, and for some reason YouTube started to show me YouTube SEO videos, so I started watching them, following people like Brian G. Johnson, and what I realised was what they were talking about for SEO was really similar to what I'd been learning on Etsy. I'd been blogging what I'd learned and sharing articles on what I'd learned from my Etsy SEO, and I discovered these people like Brian G. Johnson were talking about pretty much the same thing. There was slight differences in nuance, but I thought, can I take what I've learnt from growing an Etsy shop and grow a YouTube channel? And I could, and I did. I'd had my YouTube channel for this 6 years and been sticking whatever I fancied up every now and again. And for those 6 years, again, my growth had been terrible. But I buckled down 2 years ago and I really put into learning all these things, applying the things I'd learnt, and the results have been pretty good. My monthly gain in subs had increased 100 times, and my monthly views had increased 25 times, just in using some of this SEO stuff that I'd learnt. But also the fantastic thing, once I started looking more in depth into YouTube, my actual Etsy growth grew as well, because I was looking at things and learning things that were making sense to grow my channel on YouTube, and thinking to myself, will this work if I try it on Etsy? And you know what? Most of the time it did. And that's why people are asking me, Etsy did a big change, or they say they did a big change in the autumn of this year. Check out my playlist on the Ultimate Guide to Etsy SEO, and people were panicking, saying these were massive changes. But certain things like having shorter titles, not being all spammy, this is something I've been talking about for 2 years, because it's things that made sense from YouTube that I experimented with. So if you're constantly trying to keep one step ahead, if you're constantly experimenting, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, experiment with what seems like a good idea for SEO, and who knows, you might find it working. So the final thing that I know stresses out so many people so often is that with SEO, things are going to keep changing. They have to. And one of the reasons for this is to keep in front of the people who are gaming the system. Yeah, like I tried to do way back in the day. Remember, the search engines taking creators and people who've searched and trying to match the right ones together to get the right level. Now, if people are trying to game the system, trying to get extra views or something by doing things that's not quite so good, then that's going to mean that people who are less good, people who are less liked by the searchers, are going to get shown to each other. And Etsy, YouTube, Google, nobody wants that. So there's always going to be quick tweaks to try and make it harder, so that what's going to happen is the best people for the best searches are going to meet together. And also new technology is happening all the time. Google figured out a couple of years ago how to add into the search what the actual image is for things. It can identify what something in an image is, and that's trickling down into YouTube, and that's trickling down into Etsy as well. So keep an eye out what Google's learning, these brand new technologies. These are going to trickle down into everything else. So as technologies change and as people get better at gaming the system, SEO is going to change. So you've got to keep on the ball, keep thinking, keep adapting, keep trying. But if I can do 5,000 subscribers, then you can too. I hope that helped, and I'll see you next time.